With the Raiders going up against the Chiefs this weekend, just how big of a game is this for the Raiders to keep their playoff hopes alive?
This is probably the most important game of the year. It's a divisional game, and it's also the end of the season, coming up towards the end to where they cannot afford to lose another game because there's just so much competition within the AFC wildcard and so many teams that are legitimately either the same record or within a game of each other. So the Raiders are in control of their own destiny, but sadly enough, I'm going with the Chiefs all day, every day. They have completely turned around their season. Their defense has stepped it up. I believe since the start of this win streak, they are top three in almost every single defensive category, including rushing of the passer, which is incredible. Not to mention, we're also trying to include here, and let's remember that Vegas is down two or three running backs to play this game. So they have signed Peyton Barber a few weeks back, and he is now second behind Josh Jacobs, who has been banged up all season. Jalen Richard is on COVID reserve, and then they lost Kenyon Drake for the foreseeable future, if not for the rest of the season with a broken ankle. So you really have to look at this and say they're limited in running the football. Derek Carr has had up and down moments in the season, and they're solely reliant upon Darren Waller. The man will get 15 to what seems to be 30 targets. Obviously, I'm being completely dramatic, but I'm saying in general, they live and die by the success of Darren Waller, and most teams are now putting a corner or they're double teaming him up the seam. And it just looks like the inability of Derek to get the ball to really anybody outside of Hunter Renfro just seems to be kind of hindering this offense. And with their inability to run the ball consistently, it really kind of makes them a one-trick pony also. So I would probably lean towards Kansas City's dominance on both sides of the football. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to turn this season around, or turn the rest of the season, around and continue it in the successful manner that they've been going for the remainder of the year. But the only reason I'm saying that this isn't going to be a big blowout is because it is a divisional game. I tried to lean towards them being close just because they know each other very well, and both teams have had pretty good battles over the last couple of seasons, even with Pat Mahomes' dominance of the NFL. I got Kansas City winning by 7 to 10 points, all dependent upon Patrick Mahomes and the offense's offensive output and performance, and then it depends on the inconsistencies of the Raiders' offense, realistically.
Yeah, when I look at this game on paper, you have to favor the Chiefs in this one. Just because, Kevin, I mean, these two teams played against each other about a month ago. And the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs of old in that game, dropping a 40-point piece against the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes threw for 5 touchdowns in that game. I believe he had over 400 yards passing in that game as well. And it looked like the Chiefs hadn't missed a beat in that game against the Raiders. Now, I do think that the Raiders, they're going to look at that film against the Chiefs from just a month ago, and they're going to give the Chiefs a much more difficult challenge in this matchup. They are not going to be embarrassed like they were. I believe that was a Sunday night game just a few weeks back. So I do believe that the Raiders are going to present a more competitive show of force against the Chiefs in this one, but I just don't think it's enough in this one. And it's really for all the reasons that you mentioned. I just that offense, they're so reliant on Derek Carr to get the ball to Darren Waller to kind of get the offense going. And when you combine the fact that their run game hasn't been consistent this year just because of the amount of injuries that have been sustained, Josh Jacobs and the other running backs in the backfield have all kind of had their own separate injury issues throughout the year. I just don't believe that the Raiders offense is going to be able to generate enough points against KC's defense. And KC's defense has been absolutely phenomenal the last month and a half or so. I mean, they're right alongside the New England Patriots in their respective winning streaks as far as points given up per game. And I think if I remember the stat correctly, I think the Chiefs are averaging defensively only like 12 to 13 points a game, which is absolutely phenomenal when you compare it to what they had the first half of the season where they were down giving up 30 points a game in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the year. This team has really kind of made a full this team is defensively has really kind of gone full circle. And this team defensively is not to be trifled with in any way, shape, or form. It's just the thing with KC in this game is which offense is going to show up. Is it going to be the one that showed up against the Raiders just a couple weeks ago? Or is it going to be the one that showed up against the Broncos and the Cowboys the last couple of weeks where they really couldn't get anything going with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield in a consistent manner? I think the Chiefs are going to be able to do enough in this game. I don't think they're going to have the 40-point performance they had against the Raiders a couple weeks ago, but I do see the Chiefs cracking at least 24, 27 points in this game. And I do think the Raiders are going to be able to keep this one closer. I still believe the Chiefs are going to win this one by a one possession game. So if I'm going to throw a score out there, I'm going to say the Chiefs win this one by the score of, let's say, 27-20. Just because I don't know what offense is going to show up for KC. And even despite all the issues that the Raiders have dealt with on the offensive side of the ball, I still believe that they could get some points against this team, but it's just not going to be enough. So, KC continues their hot stretch of late. And I mean, looking at the Raiders, if the Raiders lose this one, man, their road to get into the playoffs really gets tricky from here on out. And it's like you said, this is kind of a do or die game for the Raiders in this one. And unfortunately for them, I don't see it going in their favor. And you could pretty much say with a pretty straight face at this point that you could say the Raiders' playoff chances are pretty much done if they lose this game.